Good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Monsignor Brendan and myself walked in the middle of a fashion parade. We didn't know whether to step into the picture or step out of it. I realise at any function, speaking at 9:40 p.m, it is a challenge. Given a lot of race, so I'll do my very best. We're coming, so I'm coming late into the evening because of another Jocelyn event at a DPC meeting we were attending a little earlier. But it's lovely to be here to support APA, the Partnership with Africa, with a particular lens on Ethiopia and Tanzania. This morning on the radio, I heard Alan Kearns interviewed, the GA Galway Star All-Ireland winner, speaking about his work with Self-Help Africa. He said it was about hand up, rather than a hand out. Look at the image. Making communities self-sufficient, transforming the lives of domestic workers and street children, as we saw on the very evocative film a little earlier. It's what APA does so well. A year ago, this time last year, I was privileged to visit Ethiopia. I visited with Troker. Africa is 3 times the size of Europe and the second most populous continent after Asia. In our commute from the airport that night, we saw firsthand the demolition of livelihoods along the roads of the main thoroughfare in Addis Ababa. Families being moved out of sight to the extremities of the city where there were no services and no shops. Language is critical in a country that is one of the oldest in the world with biblical origins. We think of St. Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts chapter 8. There are 80 recognized languages in the country that was originally known as Abyssinia. The only hint that gave a nod to Abyssinia was the Bank of Abyssinia. It's there you would go for the local currency, the birr, a currency devalued many times over. Owen asked me tonight to focus on Laudato Si and caring for creation. Climate change is a reality in Ethiopia and Tanzania. Drought is an ongoing issue. In Ethiopia, you washed your teeth with bottled water. Nothing from the tap was deemed safe, unless, of course, it was boiled. Our journey brought us to the northern part, the Tigray area. They feel a strong affection and affinity to Ireland because of our support for them during their conflict. Even like the Ethiopian cross, which I was given at Father Owen's Jubilee celebration in Pakistan, to our own Celtic cross. Bishop Tefilasi Medine was very generous host at the end of the trip and was very much with us through all of it. He reminded us 1 million people perished in the conflict, and despite the loss of life, the resilience of the Tigray people was so obvious, so evident. This year, friends, is the 10th anniversary of Laudato Si, care for our common home. Pope Francis appealed to us to hear and to understand that the cry of the earth is the cry of the poor. He reminded us everything is connected, emphasizing an integral ecology throughout the document. He reminded us there is a mystical meaning to be found in a leaf, in a mountain trail, in a dewdrop, in the face of a poor person. Laudato Si, quote correctly, ecological conversion, ecological spirituality, ecological education are all subsets of this integral ecology. At the heart of the journey is a moral imperative, one that challenges all of us to embrace this ecological conversion, to respond with courage and compassion to the environmental crisis. We just finished COP13. You would think the only ones there were fossil fuel lobbyists. 1 in 25 were fossil fuel lobbyists. 24 out of 25 were anti-fossil fuel lobbyists. That piece was missed by the media. Were the church there? In many ways, hugely present. There were 9 cardinals, 40 bishops, 8 representatives from the Holy See, dozens of national and international organisations, Catholic organisations with more than 10 Catholic agencies and more than 1,000 representatives directly involved in supporting people in fighting for climate justice. Pope Leo's message said, "In the midst of a world that is in flames as a result of both global warming and armed conflicts, he prayed that COP30 should be a sign of hope. Through the respect shown to the views of others in the joint endeavour to search for common language and consensus, we know that that common language and consensus was hard to come by as the final draft report was created." A cursory glance through the APA's recently completed 5-year strategic plan on all your tables shows a resilience and a commitment to empower the most vulnerable. In its foreword, it speaks not just of those living in poverty, but often those invisible to public systems. This is all about local-based initiatives in Ethiopia and in Tanzania. The circular economy, as evidenced in charity shops, such as the one on Hackettstown Road, the one out in Pollerton, and the one over in Athlone. Meeting sustainable development goals through good environmental stewardship. Back to that fashion parade which Brendan and myself held back from joining. The people told us everything being displayed comes from the shop on the Hackettstown Road. We're going tomorrow morning. I am that suit. The cry of the earth is indeed the cry of the poor. The climate crisis is a moral crisis. I leave the last word to Pope Francis. Towards the end of Laudato Si, he writes, "In the heart of this world, the Lord of life, who loves us so much, is always present. He does not abandon us. He does not leave us alone, for he has united himself definitely and definitely to our earth, and his love constantly impels us to find new ways forward. Praise be to him." Father Owen, I wish you every blessing and the great team of volunteers around you. Someone said around the table that I was delighted to join that Father Owen is great at networking. Somebody else said he also has a great neck, which helps networking. And to John described it earlier as a silent tornado. For all of that, we all say, "We'll be up this air." Let's give him a standing ovation. Having celebrated your Jubilee out in Hackettstown, unlike others, I know your age. And most people in the secular world at your age will be following a white ball around a green field. You've chosen to roll up your sleeves and continue active. May God bless you and always be receiving. Thanks very much, Father.
We're looking for someone called Martin. Martin, is it that? Martin? Mark, yeah. Mark. Listen, I wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody who's been here this evening, to everybody involved going back months and months and going back years and years since we began self-help nearly 40 years ago in 1984. The people of this Carlow area and Hackettstown and beyond have been hugely part of my life and my journey. I couldn't have made it without the incredible involvement of so many people. It's really, I'm so proud of you here tonight, so proud of so many who came here tonight, so many who made a long trip to be here tonight. It reminds me, as Mark and Charity stand holding a crib, this parents, this family of Nazareth were refugees, who were migrants, took refuge in Egypt to try and survive. And I'd like to present this to the hotel here, to Michael Watts and his whole team who have been incredibly helpful over the past week here. As a reminder that all of us are on a pilgrim journey. And as Bishop Nulty said, the world is our home. It's the place where we live, the place where we'll pass on to the next generation. And it doesn't matter what our age is, or where we come from, or where we are, we're all bonded together by our common humanity. And that shows through in the efforts we've made and in the efforts behind what we're doing between CBM and APA, joining hands across Europe to live out in a better way, a more constructive way, a less exhaustive way of administration, logistics and so on, to bond together and to utilise the resources that we have. And it's in the name of Charity, who is a former domestic worker, who is here among us, and many more here this evening, represent the great heart of humanity, as Bishop Nulty said, the 3 times the continent of Africa in Europe. Europe has only a third of the continent of Africa. People with a great heart, people with incredible resilience to hold on, to keep alive, to hold their families together, to hold life together. I've been through famine, thick and thin. We go an incredible duty and an incredible thanks and also appreciation, because it is the poor who really hold the moral power of the world. It's not people who stand at podiums, who attend these national meetings, but it's the poor who hold the earth together, who hold their families, the broken of their families, their children together in incredible times of suffering, as so many of us have seen across our time in Africa. So this crib represents going back 2,000 years of a family, we call it the Holy Family, who had that incredible journey to make, struggling through what they experienced in their lifetime. We join hands and we are part of the struggle of so many migrants, domestic workers, refugees, and so many others who are displaced or on the move across our globe in these times. We need them to hold them together, to appreciate their life, to respect them, and to help them to hold on to their dignity. That's what we're about. And if we can contribute towards that in any way, we're making the world a better place. I want to leave this here in the fire of the hotel as a reminder of all the refugees that we are part of. And we welcome everybody here tonight who is from another country. In this Carlow community, we incredibly welcomed and incredibly supported, and also the incredible contribution that you made to this community. And so many involved in the charity that we are running, APA and CVF. So thank you, bless you, and would we sing together? Maybe the night is silent for a lot of people across the world, in camps, in dreadful situations, Gaza, Ukraine. Could we sing together, stand together, and who would be in the ensure silent night? And ask the blessing of God over people who are in silence, who don't have a voice, who don't have someone to speak to, represented in this little crib, the crib of Christmas, which stands before us as a reminder of the condition of so many people. Bless you and thank you. Maybe we'll stand together now and sing. Any singer among us who could start it off?
Sleep.